Well, everybody, we have been spending all week this week kind of focused in on the fentanyl crisis. If you were tuned in on Monday, we started the week with a half-hour show just talking about fentanyl in the Wabash Valley, not just here specifically, but across the country and the impacts. Today, Brandon Halleck is with us. And Brandon, thanks for being here, first of all, as we discuss the importance of what we're doing as a community. I think what you do, we put you at the end of the week because what you do with education is so critical when it comes to the fentanyl crisis in our country. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let's talk about, if we can, what your role is with Drug Free Vigo County when it comes to anything really as far as drugs go, but specifically in this crisis that our nation is facing.
Well, Drug Free Vigo County is a local coalition that we've been in existence since 1989, and it's primarily focused on prevention, treatment, and law enforcement efforts. And with that coalition, we do a lot of prevention work, like we were talking about. But primarily, we're looking at how can we keep ahead of the crisis. If it's not hit here yet, will it hit here, or how can we just make sure that we're teaching from the youngest age all the way up on how to stop from abuse of prescription medications or drugs or any of the substances out there.
So we learned this week that here locally and in the Wabash Valley, thankfully, we're not having a huge crisis with fentanyl like other places in the country. But I have to think sometimes that's due in part to what we are doing as far as the prevention and the understanding, right?
It is, and a lot of the work that we're doing with Drug Free Vigo County is we're in the schools. We have a great working relationship with our school corporation, and we're educating our children at such a young age on ways to say no, to avoidance, resistance, refusal skills, things like that that they may be able to build at a young age to use as they become older.
I have found through this week I've educated myself. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know a lot about fentanyl. I knew about the Narcan, I knew about the things that were life-saving, and I knew there was an issue obviously out there. But because we don't do a lot of stories here locally, because we don't have the same issues other states are having, I had to educate myself a little bit. It's scary to me how readily available it is as a prescription as far as pain goes. I didn't know.
It can be, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why we do have our drug take-back, our prescription drug take-back events, twice a year. And we've also, as a coalition, really worked to make sure that we have there are locations at police departments, at pharmacies, where you don't have to wait the twice a year to take your prescription medications back, but you can always take those and drop them off year-round.
And we encourage people to do that because we're seeing video from a recent one. You have another one very fast approaching. So this drug take-back day coming up in October will be happening at Baszler's Market. We'll have the information on the screen, but as we put it there, you were telling me you're surprised at the numbers of prescription drugs that come back and the kinds that come back.
We really are. I mean, it really comes down to that, we collect hundreds of pounds. I mean, I think over the last few years, we've probably collected over 30,000 pills on just twice a year. And so that's why it's important that, we want to have that availability for it, but don't wait for those days. I push out to people to say, if you have the prescription medications, they're expired, take them to the pharmacy, take them to the police station, they'll be disposed of properly, and just get them out of the house, away from folks that, family or somebody that might use them that shouldn't be using them.
Prescription medicines are made to help us, to help heal us, to help us fight pain. They're there for a reason, but the abuse and the crisis that we face following it is the reason why communities are doing what they're doing and why you exist as an organization. What are some things that people can learn about you if they visit your website, by the way? And I do want to share that with people because your website is very user-friendly, by the way. You did a great job with Drug Free Vigo County. But what are some things that you hope people take away from it?
Again, a good focus for us is that we are here to work with the community in prevention, treatment, and with local law enforcement. We also have a youth group called I Lead, and so it's a youth leadership group that we work with local middle school and high schoolers. If you go to the website, you'll see some commercials that we've done in the past, and specifically talking about some of it either vaping or prescription drugs, things that are facing our teenagers today. And so really, again, people can really know that we're here to make sure that there is a strong strong prevention effort in our community.
Do you feel like kids are getting it at this point? I mean, you see them face to face every day with what you do. Do you feel like they get it?
I do. I do think that the children, like our youth today, really are understanding. I also know too that with social media, it's making our job a little bit harder because you'll get on Snapchat, TikTok, things like that, where it'll you may see something that's being more glamorous and things like that. So we're constantly battling that. But I do think the kids are smart. They understand. It's just making sure that they have the skill set needed to say no and to resist some of that.
Well, obviously you're having an impact. The police have told us the grants you provide, the things that you're doing to educate, it's obviously working. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in. Once again, it's been a whole week of discussion, an important week. And we want to remind you that Drug Free Vigo County will have that prescription drug take back day on Saturday, October 26th, 9 to 12:30 at Baszler's Market in Terre Haute. You don't even have to get out of your car. I think they make it pretty easy for you. You can just drop off those prescription drugs no longer needed and make sure they're disposed of properly. A good day to be able to do that. Brandon, thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Stay with us. We've got more to come on Good Day Live.